Hello everyone, Agent Gold here. Welcome back to my mini Let's Play of Final Fantasy VI. When we left off last time, Cyan just joined up with Sabin and Shadow, and they just made their way out of the Imperial camp. Cyan said that the best way to Narshe is through the forest to the south, so we'll be making our way there. Before we go south, let's take just a little detour to the west. I don't think I've actually mentioned this yet, but you see those meters that are building up down below there? Obviously enough that tells you when it's the person's turn to attack, but the way that this game works, if somebody has a command ready, like Shadow's about to have right here, if I don't give them a command, the enemies will still continue to act, so it's a little bit more active than just what you might be used to, where you either give your team commands at the start of a round or you give them turn by turn and it gives you all the time you need. You need to be a little bit on your feet. They do give you a pause button for battles, so here's where Doma Castle is in relation to the base. We can't actually go in right now because the soldiers are blocking it off. Yeah, congratulations on your victory here, guys. What have you got to show for it? You've got an old rundown castle. You've got maybe one prisoner, assuming he didn't leave by the time you got here. If General Leo was in command, you'd at least... It might have taken longer, but you'd at least have prisoners or subjects, people who have to do what you say. But with Kefka's poisoning plan, there's really nothing to show for it, so you reap what you sow, I guess. That actually does bring up an interesting point. You have to wonder, what happened to the one survivor who was in there with Cyan? We never actually see him again, so it's up for speculation. And I've heard a few interesting theories. I mean, some people think that he did leave before the Empire got there, and there are two towns nearby, we will see both of them, and maybe he went to live in one of those. Another possibility is if he was still there when the Empire arrived, maybe they killed him or took him prisoner. Another morbid one is that he gave in to despair and drank the poison. I'm not particularly fond of that one, but I have to admit it's a good one. But like I said, we never found out, so it's use your imagination. Pick the one you like. So, here's the forest. Normally on the world map you just walk through forests like you would through plains, but here it's an actual level, I guess you would call it. It's called Phantom Forest, and the reason for that is we'll be seeing a few ghosts in here. So the ghosts are pretty annoying. They don't give out a lot of experience and they're not that hard to take down, but they'll try to use fire spells on us. So when we see ghosts, the objective is pretty much just to kill them before they can kill us. Well, not kill us, but annoy us at least. There are some recovery springs throughout this game. I don't know exactly how they work, but they just restore your health and magic points to your status conditions. It's free healing. Most of the enemies who are undead, like these ghosts, are weak against holy attacks, and Aura Cannon is a holy attack, so that's going to be particularly useful here, if it wasn't already strong enough anyway. Something that I don't think I mentioned with the Blitz commands, when I was younger I could not pull off Aura Cannon, and that's because the directions are a little bit misleading. I'll finish that thought in just a second. So there's a train here, which this might be like the lawnmowers from before. This might be a little surprising that there are trains in the world, but they're here, so... There could be survivors on the train, so Sabin wants to check it out. Says it'll only take a second, so... But Cyan seems pretty nervous for some reason. The train looked pretty worn on the outside, but it actually looks really well furbished in here. Uh-oh. So this is a gateway to the afterlife. And we're stuck on board after it left. Guys, I think I know what we're doing next. Before we go to the engine, let's go back to this car. It's the furthest one back on the train, or the caboose as I'm told it's called. There's a little bit of cool stuff on there. So I was going to say before about the blitz commands. The programming in this game is a little bit lazy. I hate that attack. It cuts your hit points in half. Let's get rid of these things. Programming was a little bit lazy. If you press a diagonal direction on the control pad, it only registers one of the two directions. So instead of making it totally Street Fighter style with the blitz commands, they kept that and kind of tried to account for it. So Aura-Bolt, or Aura Cannon for instance, it was Aura-Bolt in Super Nintendo, don't blame me here. Aura Cannon can be activated either by pressing down, down, left, or down, left, left, and that's to account for the diagonal direction. So instead of rolling it like you would expect to in a Street Fighter game, it's easier just to pull off that combination. There's a single ghost back here. He doesn't seem to want to talk, but he seems to want to come with us. So there are friendly ghosts on this train, in addition to the evil ones. And what do we have in here? That's another morbid kind of a reference. Okay, so the train's conductor. Tell us about this train. Cyan kind of gave us the rundown, but maybe you can give us the full story. Seems simple enough. There's a switch over here. Sabin's pretty brave. He just wants to pull it and see what happens. A little bit of look at Cyan, what makes him tick. Tactful. Tactful. This is not really something that comes up in the story that much. It just is something that happens once in a while that we see about him, so it's just kind of cool that they throw something in for you to find like that. So I've been doing most of my saving off screen. This is a save point right here. And this train is going to take a long time to cross, so I'm going to cut this video a little bit short and put the train in its own video altogether. Just so it's not driving you crazy until then, I'll tell you that the ghost that we just picked up, he's not very strong. I'll show you even. He doesn't have any kind of equipment except this one thing called a Lich Ring. And what that does is it basically treats him like he's undead. If we try to use a healing item on him during battle, it's going to harm him. And that's the same thing that happens to undead enemies. The other thing that it does, if anyone tried to use instant death on him, that would be healing. That would just restore him completely. But no one's going to do that at this point in the game. And if he goes down to 0 HP and falls in battle, he'll be removed from the party. This ghost is just a temporary character, so that's fine. He has a battle command called Possess, and what that does is he'll sacrifice himself, drop himself to 0 HP, remove himself from the group, and take down one enemy instantly. Now, the other three are still pretty good at one-shotting everything, so the ghost is just going to be kind of coming along for the ride for a while. I do have one enemy in mind that it's going to be helpful in taking down, so we'll just have the extra group member there for a while. But I'm just going to save things right here, cut this video right here, and we'll see you next time as we try to get to the front of that train. See you then.